Hey everyone, John Potiker from Mojave Valley Daily News. This is Chalk Talk, brought to you by Anderson Ford of Bullhead City. Today, I am joined by the River Valley wrestling coach, Phil Regan. How are you doing, sir?
Good. How are you doing, John?
Good. I stumbled a little bit because I always want to say Zach or I always want to say Luke. Zach and Luke are the kids that we coached football
John coached
years ago.
River Valley. Yes, he did.
Long time ago.
Yep, did a good job.
We're here to talk wrestling. I think it's something that we kind of, we catch up with the scores here and there, but we really don't dig into it too often. So I thought it was important that we get down here. You guys just came off a great tournament. So before we get to that, before the season started, I was down here talking to you, and we talked about how you didn't have a season last year. It was, all right, get ready, all right, now stop. Now get ready, and then stop, and then it just the whole thing went away. How did that impact you coming into this season?
Yeah, well, some of the impact was from our youth program as well, because we haven't had our youth program for 2 years, and that's kind of our feeder program coming into the high school. So that's impacted us some. And then last year, we just had guys continue in the drop. We practiced for 2.5 months, and we never got to wrestle. And so they get in here, and it's a tough go, even in the practice room. I mean, it's a pretty physical sport. Yeah. So they get beat up a little bit in the practice, and they start getting discouraged if they don't at least get out on the mat and do something. And so by the time they canceled the season, we were down to probably 7 or 8 guys left. And then a week or 2 later, they decided, oh, well, no, we're going to have the season. And we were down to about 3 or 4, and we were like, okay, that's it. Yeah. So we pulled the plug on our season at the end of January. There was going to be 3 or 4 weeks left in the season, but we just didn't have the numbers to keep it going.
Yeah, and come in and wrestle for, whatever, 6 or 7 dual meets maybe, and it just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Is there 13 weight classes?
There's 14 weight classes.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. And so we got some open weight classes. I mean, we've had we don't have too many smaller weight classes. We're missing some holes down there, and so you just wrestle with the guys you got.
That's Clark's fault, right? Coach Clark?
He's bulking them up in the football room.
Yeah, they're too heavy to qualify.
You put them in a weight room too big,
So let's talk about that. You guys did great over the weekend. You finished second in the Dan Saylor tournament at Mojave High School.
Yeah.
And a couple of the guys you and I talked about, John Skinner at 150, Andrew Cervantes 215. Both of those guys were outstanding football players this year for River Valley.
That's right.
How important is that, coming out of football season and all that? I mean, it's got to be difficult because they're bulking up for football season.
Right.
Now you're trying to.
Right. And they come in and we have to work them out, and they have to get down to some weight. They do lose some weight, but the football guys they have an instinct for leverage. They have strength because they're in the weight room. Mm-hmm. They're generally pretty good athletes. I mean, we love having them, as many as we can get, and they really regulate the weight loss now a lot. So you take them in and you weigh them in, and you make sure they do a body fat analysis on them, and then they regulate how much weight the guys can lose. So it's usually pretty healthy weight loss, unlike some of us older guys. Day? Yeah, where they just throw you in a sweat box and tell you we're half dead.
You put on that aluminum suit and taped everything shut.
Turn the heat up. And do that. They don't allow you to do that anymore, and I think it's good.
Obviously, I never had that whole sweat the weight off thing. So we talked about John Skinner and Andrew Cervantes. You had 5 champions, right? Is that right?
We had, I think we had four. I hope I don't get this wrong. Yeah, I think we had 4. We had.
Yeah, that's right, and they were all seniors.
Yeah, Jaden Bishop won at 190, and he is a junior actually, but it's his first year wrestling. He's a good-sized kid at 190, and he just came out kind of out of the blue and just went out and really wrestled well on Saturday.
So he didn't wrestle any of the youth stuff going up? He just came in here?
He really didn't. He came in, and his brother's a freshman, and they came in to wrestle. Their dad is helping us, and he's just kind of taken to it. He's getting better. And he's had some struggles in the matches that we've had up till, and then Saturday he just came out ready to go. Some things started clicking, and he got a little more aggressive, and yeah, he won the 190 class.
Nice.
So that was a nice win for us. Peyton Boyce at 150. So he came out. He's a freshman. You know him from football.
Yep.
Well, the brother.
Yeah.
But Peyton played as well, and he's kind of tall and lean and is muscular, and he's had a little bit of wrestling background, but he's starting to click.
Is there an ideal body type for that? We got tall and thin. I remember that like Chris Boss was short and stocky, and I mean, is it just? And
he was a good wrestler.
Yeah.
We have Curtis Olin, our senior, at 120, and he's
stocky.
Real muscular. But the tall, lanky kids can cause you some problems.
More leverage.
They could. The 120-pounder for Mojave gave Curtis trouble. He's a big, tall kid, the Chadwick kid, and they just have a lot of range. They can cradle you up. They can lock their hands around you. But so I think Boyce got a good future, and he came out and won at 150. Kind of surprised us, and he did good. And then Andrew at 215, a really tough weight class.
And we talked about John Skinner. And by the time this airs, the Athlete of the Week will already be out. So John was our Athlete of the Week this week. Came out at 150. You asked him to go up to 157 because there was nobody for him at 150, right? He wrestled at 157.
Yes.
He wrestled a couple times at 157, once at 165.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty awesome that you're willing to go out there and go up 2 weight classes to wrestle and still win.
Yeah, it's nice that a kid he's not worried about himself, you know what I mean? He's not worried about his own record, because you can go up and get beat. I mean, the guy's a lot heavier than you, and he's, whatever you need me to do. So he went out and won a couple matches at 157, a couple matches at 150, and then the last one, I moved him up to 165 to wrestle the kid from Kingman. They didn't have anybody at 57, so he bumped up to 65 and won that match. So it was pretty good stuff, Yeah. The next day he came out and wanted to wrestle 157 rather than 150 because he just felt it was a tougher weight class. So and it was fuller. They had more guys in it. So he came out and went after the 157 match and wrestled a very good wrestler, tough kid from Havasu at 57. I mean, that kid was legit for sure, and John beat him 2-0 in the final. It was a great match. Yeah. It really was a good one. They were all over the mat, and John's got pretty good body control. It was a good match.
Good. So we talked about guys coming out of football season. Is it something that you encourage? Is that as a wrestling coach, rather than just being in the weight room and lifting year-round, that you get involved in some of these other activities? Is that, I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And we like them to run track and do that if that's what they want to do. A few of the guys will play baseball. I think Boyce is probably a baseball player, but track's always good for them. And the football coach does that too. The one thing we did this year that's been different than we've done in the past is we have a new coach that came River Valley, Coach Pierce, and he's a nutritionist and a weightlifting guy. Oh. So we decided to put the kids in a weight room for 50 minutes.
Is that the giant guy in there?
He's all muscular, but he's short, but he's okay. And he wrestled in college. He wrestled for the for the Army, I think, a little bit. So he's got some wrestling knowledge, but he put together a weight program that's more designed to lean them out, keep them strong and lean them out.
Build lean muscle, yeah.
Yeah, so the 50 minutes in the weight room and then coming to the wrestling room is something the kids have really liked. So we've gotten kids that have just really enjoyed that, and so that's something that we're definitely going to keep going, because now then when wrestling season's over, he'll change that program into more back into
tailored towards whatever they're going on to next. Yeah. Good. So when this airs, you've already started sectionals. Today is Tuesday. Tomorrow night you have sectionals.
Yes, we have sectional meet.
All right, so tell us how that goes. You've got how do you do state qualifiers and all that? How does that work?
Yeah, we wrestle every team in our section through the season. So we have 4 sectional meets. Generally, we'll wrestle. Tomorrow we're wrestling 3 teams because it's the teams in our pod. So they set us up in 4 pods of 4 teams, 16 teams. So we'll wrestle the A pod, then the B pod, D pod. Tomorrow we're wrestling ours. Then that seeds the kids for sectionals. And then we'll come in February, we'll wrestle a sectional meet. It's all one day. it's the only day of the year they're allowed to wrestle more than 5 matches. So if they have to go 6 matches to finish, they can.
Wow.
Normally they can only wrestle 5 in a day, and they'll wrestle the whole sectional off in one day. And it's a big tournament, 16 teams, and a lot of a lot of blood, a lot of tears.
Yeah.
But the top 4 guys then will qualify for state.
You got some guys you think are going to be wrestling down there?
I think all my seniors got a good chance.
Good.
You know, Mike Doolin took second. The heavyweight division again was very tough. Mojave is a good heavyweight. Havasu had an exceptional heavyweight. Trevor Brown had an exceptional heavyweight. Mike beat them all actually over the weekend, but lost in the final to the Trevor Brown wrestler. But Doolin has a good chance. Cervantes has a good chance. Skinner and Curtis, and you know, to be honest with you, after seeing Boyce and Jaden wrestle on Saturday, they might have a shot. You know,
yeah.
I
they're
mean,
peaking at the right time.
they're starting to peak, and if it keeps clicking with them, we got quite a few matches before sectionals. Who knows? You know.
Well, that's awesome. That's
Anything
good
can
news.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I'm sure it's all coaching. Yeah, right?
Yeah, all assistant coaching.
All right,
Yeah.
Coach. Well, I appreciate it.
All right, John. Hey, thanks a lot for
Congratulations, you
coming
guys are
out.
doing
We really
great.
appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our
Yeah.
pleasure. All right, this has been Chalk Talk. This is brought to you by Anderson Ford. Keep an eye out for these guys. They got a good thing going on down here in River Valley. So thanks a lot. We'll check you out next time.